Okay, so you all know my love-hate relationship with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and I love the mask in that movie, specifically the dream sequence mask. And I'm in my local party city right now, actually in a different one, and I have been wanting that mask, not the ripped one, but the dream sequence mask from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 for years, since 2009. So when Trick or Treat Studios got the rights to it, I was like, oh my God, I need it. And I've been looking everywhere. I've looked in quite a few different Party City locations. And I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go in one, I'm gonna see if they have it. And lo and behold, look what I found. Whoa. I actually got this thing. I'm so stoked. When I get home, we are going to take a much closer look at the dream mask from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Okay, I am home. I have had a chance to really look this thing over, and I am still absolutely in love with it. I'm shocked that it's sitting right here in front of me right now. Now, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to me, let me explain a little bit about my extreme love-hate relationship with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, because I was getting into the horror world as a teenager back in 2007, 2008, 2009. And I was already kind of on the Elm Street train. I was already on the Friday the 13th train. I was well already into Resident Evil, and I was on the zombie train. Resident Evil, as I've said before, was kind of my gateway drug into the horror world. And I saw Rob Zombie's Halloween 2007 in the theater with my dad. It was a really cool experience. I liked it. I don't think I appreciated it quite as much as I could have, and as much as I've ended up appreciating it over the years. But then I remember watching the trailer for Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 when it dropped. And I remember in the deep, epic voice, in the movie trailer voice, hearing Rob Zombie completes his extraordinary vision. And that trailer was put together so well. And it made me so excited as a horror fan. It was one of the first real memories of me being honestly excited, like that fan level excited for a film. And I remember watching it, and I knew it was a little wonky. I knew it was weird. I knew there were some things that I was like, I don't know about that. Her waking up from the dream and all of that not being real. Like, I wasn't really crazy about it, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. It was still a fun watch. Seeing H2 in the theater is still to this day one of my absolute favorite movie theater experiences of my life, personally. And from that moment forward, I've always wanted this mask. So when I knew that there was a replica of sorts of this mask available at Halloween stores, I was like, I gotta go get it. I have to. I need one. I really want it. So I have a distinct memory going with my dad and my brother. There was a Halloween Express, Halloween City, whatever location about 45 or so minutes from our house. And this would have been in 2009, 2010, maybe. But I remember going with them, and we drove the 45, 50 minutes to this location, and it was a warehouse location. So it was a big place. And we walked through the door, we walked past the registers, and kind of we perused and looked through everything. And it was a fun little trip. And we were walking around, and I'm looking for this. I'm looking for what you're looking at right now. And I finally made it to the back of the store after all of this hype, after wanting it so bad and so looking forward to it. And I look up at the back wall, and I see the most disappointing mask I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't think I've ever been that disappointed in a mask. I didn't even get it down from the shelf. It looked atrocious. It was, the shape wasn't right. It was super, super white. The blood didn't look right. The mesh over the eyes, it was a terrible looking mask. And I was so disappointed. And from that moment forward, I have always wanted a copy of the dream sequence mask from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, fast forward to now when Trick or Treat Studios has gotten the rights to it. I had been waiting for it. I was like, I really, really, really hope that Tots is working on acquiring the rights from Dimension for Wayne Toth's molds of the Zombie Myers mask, because it's a really good mask. Say whatever you will about Rob Zombie's Halloween films, the masks looked great, particularly this one. Now, when the stripper rips half of it off his face, I'm good. I don't need that. But this one in particular absolutely rules. Now, right off the bat, I can tell you, I think that this is some of Trick or Treat Studios' best work. I think a lot of people, when it comes to the Myers masks, have issues with the shading on the skin, like the flesh tone part of it. And I get that, but I also think that when you look at some of the detail that you get and you look at the molds that you get, they're ripped straight from the movie molds. I mean, this in particular, I was blown away when I saw this. And Party City had 3 different copies of it. There were 2 up top on a shelf, and there was this one. And I could see, this one just, it had the look. There was something about it that I was like, man, this is it. This is the copy I want. It was the first one I laid eyes on. And I personally really like the shading on this one. I mean, I think it has the grungy look. It looks like it used to be solid white, and almost the way that cigarette smoke yellows things. I mean, I think it kind of has that yellowed, grungy, grimy look. The cracks are super yellowed, and they look like they're starting to mold and give way. The blood, I mean, that's the thing that I love about the Dream Mask is the cracks where Laurie shot him and the blood has kind of splattered along the edge. I mean, it's such a cool looking mask. And some of those shots from the hospital when he's chasing her in the basement, or once they get out in the rain and you see it kind of cloaked in shadow. I mean, it's such a really, really cool look, and it adds so much dimension to the thing. Even the way the ripples are, I don't know if you can even tell in the video, but there's a lot of detail in kind of the ripples where it's starting to fray and rip down the side. It's got kind of the glossy wetness to it. You can't complain about the mold itself. I mean, it's stripped, it's ripped straight from Wayne Toth's movie mold. It's absolutely incredible that it's even possible to have a mask like this. And I know many people are going to rehaul it. I've never rehauled one of my Trick or Treat Studios masks. I don't see a need. I don't think it needs it. With the exception, I was kind of into the idea of doing it myself for a while. And I did kind of rehaul, in a sense, my H2 mask. I had 2 copies of the Trick or Treat Studios Halloween 2 1981 mask, and I did rehaul one just to see if I could do it. And I did okay. I think I've shown that off on the channel before, but yeah, this is by far, I think it's their best work. I haven't done anything to the hair. I mean, it's the standard Myers mask hair. It's on any of them. I have my Kills and my Ends mask over here. It's the standard hair that you'd get on any of them. But it doesn't have the, this one, it lays down much flatter and much better than some of the other ones. If you remember, a complaint that many people have had over the years is that the hair on the original H2 masks and things like that, they just kind of it's like one layer on top of another layer on top of another. That just might be the way they have to do it, and that's fine. But this one looks like it lays down better. It looks good. Again, I haven't styled it. I haven't done anything to it. This is pretty much straight out of the bag. The only thing I did do is put it on a bust, and I do this sometimes. I took the Party City bag, like the bag they put it in when I bought it, and I stuffed it inside just to give it a little bit of cheek, like the look of the cheeks and things like that, to give it a little bit of form. But I mean, the paint job is really, really well done. I think it's one of the better paint jobs I've seen on a Trick or Treat Studios mask. The shading is really well done. Even around the nose, you get kind of the shading of the color where obviously it's going to get more worn along the edges and things like that. And the nostrils, the mouth is not slit. I know there's been kind of, not with this mask, but with others in the past, there's been, you know, different variations where some of them have a slit mouth, some of them don't. This one does not. I don't know if anybody's encountered one that is split. It's also a pretty thick pull. I know there was some talk of people being concerned about, oh, is where it's kind of ripped on the bottom, is that going to be, you know, too flexible? Is it going to give way? Is it going to tear? It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like a thick pull. It feels like a good pull. Size-wise, I would say it's bigger than the 2018. It's probably along the lines of the Ends mask, if you've worn one of the Ends masks. I think the Kills mask is slightly bigger than the Ends mask, personally. Poisonally, I think it's a little bit bigger. But this is kind of a nice medium. It's in between. I've only put it on once. I don't typically wear them. I just throw them on a bus and have them to look at. And then again, one of my favorite features is, I don't know if you can see it in the light, that glossiness of the blood. I mean, it looks wet. It looks really, really good, man. I'm still like, I'm just blown away. I'm still blown away that I'm holding this in my hands. And, you know, when it comes down to it, again, I've wanted this for a really long time, and I think many Halloween fans did. I think there were a lot of people in my boat that just could not justify spending $400 or $500 on some of these independent artists. And again, no diss to them at all, because what they do is incredible. And I love it for the people that can spend that money on a mask, but I could never bring myself to do it. And, you know, again, I think for $60, I paid $63 for this in Party City. And it's like one of my favorite additions to my collection ever. I've waited for this before I started collecting, you know what I mean? So I've got to say, to Chris Zephro, Justin Mabry, Wayne Toth, everybody at Trick or Treat Studios that made this thing a reality, from this former horror kid to you, thank you so much, because this is a dream come true. To have this sitting on my shelf, to look at this every day with all of my other Myers masks, I mean, it's so cool. It really blows my mind, and it's legitimately a dream come true. If you're on the fence about getting this thing, I highly encourage you to go check out a Party City. Look at one for yourself, because I do not think you will be disappointed. I mean, if you're disappointed in that, like, I'm sorry, but yeah, there's a problem with that. Like, it's such a good looking mask from a very controversial film that I wish made better decisions in the end. But anyways, guys, please remember, leave this one a like. If you're new to the channel, please like this video, subscribe, click the notification bell. I don't usually ask to do that, but we are in the middle of the second annual Let's Talk Movies Oktoberfest, and we are celebrating horror all month long here at the channel. It's going to be a blast. We've got so many really, really cool things going on. So be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at LTM Podcast KY. Stick around to the end of this video, and I will throw up some other more intimate shots of this mask so that you can get a better look at it. And we just thank you so much for being here. I love you. Thank you, Trick or Treat Studios. This is a dream come true, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.